There's no question at all. We're going to continue. What we've done here so far is just the beginning. If it's done right, we won't just be famous in Taiwan. We just may be creating something that the whole world will know about. We've got something definitely worth developing here. It's not easy to do, finding such a large flatland forest here in Taiwan. The area here, in terms of both ecological resources and cultural resources, is extremely rich. As long as we let the forest grow and remain healthy, her value to the environment here will be incalculable. Visitors to the area ask us, so are there plans to stop development of the park after a while? Naturally, this is up to the central government, whether or not it's sustainably managed. As long as it is, those of us living on the park's periphery will always support her and ask that she continue to grow proud and strong. Danongdafu Forest Park embraces 1,250 hectares. The Taiwan Forestry Bureau and Taisugar Corporation have carpeted this expansive lowland plain preserve with just under 20 different lowland tree species, most of which are native to Taiwan. Former saplings have matured into the sturdy young trees that comprise Danongdafu's visitor-friendly forests.
Our school's drum corps was invited to perform both at the Danongdafu opening ceremony and at the opening of the park's wooden walkway. For the kids, it's a place they can enjoy, as well as feel a proud sense of accomplishment about. That's why they have such a sense of emotional attachment. This is such a fantastic place, great for a long stay experience. I mean, staying here for more than just a day or two. Then you can begin to really appreciate the beauty here and start doing activities like these. Exploring, learning more about the environment. This is the best way to help students and visitors to the area really expand their knowledge and understanding.
这边有来过举手，都有来过。好，手放下，因为你们很近，对不对？你们学校离这里很近，好吧？我们今天呢，我们这2天1夜呢，我们要在大家都来过的大农大富，大家都没有过夜过的大农大富过夜哈。那小朋友，我们现在
Most of Taiwan's forest recreation parks are located along mountainsides. Now our lowland forest is just what it says, lowland. She's a large, really large lowland secondary forest. For the average visitor, it's easy to take things easy, feel really relaxed, and find fulfillment. Bounded by the coastal mountains on one side and the central mountains on the other, she's the Eastern Rift Valley's largest flatland forest. Rivers run through the park, so you know it's a treasure trove of ecological diversity. Danongdafu's natural environment supports a rich biota that already includes 60 bird species, 50 insect species, around a dozen species of reptile, and at least 5 mammals. Lush, natural scenic beauty was once a rarity in Taiwan's lowland forests. Work reforesting the plains finished up about 10 years ago. After that, we leased a part of this land from its owner, the Taisugar Corporation. Now on this area that we reforested a decade before, we moved ahead with plans to create one of 3 national lowland forest preserves. This was the beginnings of Danongdafu. I still remember everything like it was yesterday. After being tasked with reforestation responsibilities, I visited the site together with senior officials from our bureau. They learned the area had already lain fallow for a while. These sugarcane fields had been left untended for 2 years or more. It was overgrown. Sugarcane plants had been left to grow wild and were a good 2 meters tall or more. It was a dense thicket of vegetation. So I can honestly say it was a situation that worried me for quite some time. Like I thought, there was a lot of work afterward that didn't go as smoothly as we'd hoped. But we worked hard and finished every task one after another. The original plans for a lowland forest were announced suddenly, so we didn't have much time for planning. We had no chance to do pre-planning 3 years beforehand, so we ended up having to make do. So the Forestry Bureau put out the call to Taiwan's 8 forest district offices and requisitioned pretty much all of the available deciduous saplings from their nurseries. Everything was shipped to Hualien. I remember we were inundated with nearly 2 million saplings. There was no particular order to the species and quantities. A lot of some, a little of others. How would we deal with that? We ended up deciding to alternate species every 6th row and planted about 1,500 trees per hectare. That's why it's rare here to see a large tract of any single species, very rare. We paired off the mixed bag of species we got with different sections of the park, so the way we did things created a somewhat different effect. Danongdafu was once sugarcane as far as the eye could see. It's really fortunate this area could be preserved intact. Cultivation of sugarcane began here during the Japanese colonial period, so there are some relevant cultural artifacts dating from the early 20th century here. Earlier still, this was once a hunting ground for indigenous tribes. The area's history ties together indigenous cultures, Taiwan's colonial era, and Thai sugar, all the way down to today. The whole area is steeped in history and culture, so we've got exceptional natural resources as well as cultural heritage. Are we attractive? Are we good? Definitely very good. Fantastic. Indigenous culture, Hakka culture, Southern Min culture, all have roots here. And together with the forest and ecology, enrich Danongdafu. As caretaker of the area's cultural heritage, Hualien Forest District Office regularly holds art and cultural activities in the park with neighboring communities and groups to promote local culture, and invites visitors to experience, unfettered, the area's pervasive culture and nature. Taiwan's Forestry Bureau manages 3 lowland forest parks. One is Danongdafu, and the other 2 are in Pingdong and Jiayi. What makes Danongdafu special is its wealth of both cultural and natural attractions. We've also invested quite a lot of resources here. In addition to the bike trail network and walking trails, we have Sunland and Moon Pond. Our activity area today is on Sunland. There's a lot more infrastructure work to come as well. Project work will commence from next year. And after everything is finished, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised at the difference. This area here all around us is segregated into 5 sections. The Eco-Security Buffer Zone is the dark green area here. The major water flows through the park traverse this zone. During the dry season, it's dry. But during heavy rains, the channels fill up quickly. So we extended this part of the buffer zone. This part is almost 1/2 of the whole park. Secondly, number 2 over here. This section here is the largest and most complete. When reforestation started, work began in the north and moved south. The trees here were planted earliest and are now the largest and prettiest. That's why we've named it the Forest Experience Zone. Now thirdly, this light olive green Nature Discovery Zone was named this way because we've left it wild, with no crops or saplings being grown. The topography on the northern end is relatively more rolling, so Nature Discovery seemed an appropriate name. The central zone was where the offices were during the Japanese colonial era. Provincial Route 9 runs right past here, so the central zone is the first stop off the park's entrance. This zone functions as an efficient control point for visiting vehicles and as a centralized delivery point for introductory information on the park. Another section is this deep grass green section here. This section is where Taisugar organizes programs promoting chemical-free agriculture. That's right here. Plans are to gradually integrate production, with crop production centered here. So we call this section the Lohas Recreation Zone. That's pretty much the organization of the park. Community participation infuses vital life into the Danongdafu lowland forest. Community understanding and involvement infuses greater vitality and hope into efforts here. In taking visitors around, of course some are here just to take in the scenery. Of course we respect that and don't interfere with their experience. But others are looking to better understand the area's ecology, culture, and history. Our presentations generally emphasize reducing carbon emissions, the overall reforestation effort, and what the land was used for by Taisugar before it was a forest. Basically, the overall development of this habitat land. When you're dealing with nature, of course, it's impossible to create something less than real. While we definitely had a hand in creating this park, the process of creation, I think, was very natural, in harmony with nature. We've also made every effort to make the park accessible to all. Park facilities are all barrier-free, to give those with disabilities full access to the forest. I feel the Forestry Bureau has done a particularly good job in this respect. We all live nearby, so we feel particularly lucky to have this here. I have the feeling that as long as things continue on course, it won't be long before we see a lot more visitor traffic. Naturally, we're not anxious to see crowds piling in. We'd like to see a reasonable, steady number of visitors. We're hopeful that more people from the community get involved in the park to make her even more wonderful. We need to protect our forest and protect this land.
我们要尊重大自然，要学习大自然，要与大自然共存。所以，我们整个一个人行步道的一个设置，就是把树保留在原来位置。那我们走路的时候，我们就要让边行，让我们跟大自然能够和平共存，这是最重要一点。
Danongdafu in Hualien belongs to the people of Hualien County. Today, its verdant beauty belongs to everyone in Taiwan. The main purpose of this hot air balloon activity is to let our friends in surrounding communities take to the sky and view the coastal mountain range to the east and the central mountains to the west. Going up in a hot air balloon lets us see broader, farther, and bigger. It will help foster greater compassion and greater generosity. It will even help advance the national character. This is the main purpose of the hot air balloon activity that we've co-organized today with Hualien County. Looking down from above, you see a lot of interesting features. The scenery, the feel. That's something you can appreciate only from a hot air balloon basket. Sunland and Moon Pond, the indigenous warrior discovery and recreation area, is over here. It ties the Rift Valley together. Hualien City is to the north and Yuli is to the south. Wow, the setting is truly majestic. Animal life in the area is also gradually recovering and expanding. The trees are maturing, giving animals new habitats and places to shelter. The upward trend will continue as food sources continue to increase. We can then start introducing information on the life cycles and seasonal changes in area flora and fauna. So no question, reforestation has been good for the environment here. We encourage people to stay for a week in one of the adjacent villages to talk with the residents, learn about indigenous life, share their food, take a bike ride, enjoy meals at village restaurants. There's morning sunrises, cloud-swept mountains in the afternoon, evening skies full of stars. So much to do. This has always been a relatively impoverished area. No visitors, no tourists. These development plans have naturally brought in the tourists, lots of them to the area. It's also brought us some new business.
车道它这个是枫林它是枫叶所以它才会枫红。每一片的叶子呢都非常的漂亮我们过去呢还有一些是苦楝树还有茄冬树，还有台湾榉木所以点下来各位可以慢慢去欣赏各种不同的叶子的美天空的美，你可以把它在车道里面可以躺起来看天空呢都可以等下各位可以慢慢去享受这样的一个天然的美食啊那我们出发了好不好
I often say that we share an intimate connection with trees. How then should we help the public really appreciate how the forests, the plants, relate to our everyday life? For this, how to connect teaching to learning, I think that it's great that we put everyone up close and personal. Let everyone experience things themselves. I think this way, we'll be able to achieve what we hope to. It's just the beginning. No rush. We can build everything out step by step. See, the public's already coming in to experience what the park has to offer now. Getting the public to come, that's the main hurdle. Our vision for the park addresses the so-called 3 lows. That's low carbon, low density development, and low commercialization. We've achieved each one. What's great is that, in achieving these 3, we've also achieved such remarkable results. I have no doubt the best is yet to come. I can't wait. The public will experience it all. Of course, we hope this area will continue on its low carbon, low development density, low commercialization course. Really, all those who visit, pretty much 9 out of every 10 visitors, support continuing like this. It's because they like the freedom, relaxation, and beauty that this kind of environment provides.
Putting all this together at the Danongdafu Forest Park, it's simply fantastic. The park covers everything we're looking for in an ecotourism experience. I believe this is truly just the beginning. Take it all one step at a time. Getting more people to come will make things even better.
Keep it up, Danongdafu Forest Park. You've got our support.